And I'm live, apparently. I'll tweet the stream out, wait for some people to join, and then we'll get right into it. So here's my team. All right, Sparta, mate, good to see you. Here's my team. I'm a little bit unsure what to spend my transfer on. Some people have suggested Zaha to Saka, but I just don't rate that. I'm just not sure that it's worth the upside. Zaha's got Southampton at home, then West Ham, and then a decent fixture. I think you could reasonably keep Zaha in, whereas Solanke, I think, is the one that could make way. Couple options to replace him, one being Jesus. Only problem with Jesus is that he's on 4 yellows. So I don't think it's getting... He's got 4 yellows and Chelsea next, so I'm not entirely sure it's worth bringing Jesus in. Tony's another option. He's got a couple of good fixtures, and then City before the World Cup. But he's on 4 yellows too. And then Callum Wilson is the one that I'm really excited by. He's got very similar expected goal stats to Jesus. He's got decent fixtures. He's on penalties. He's not got 4 yellow cards, but obviously he does have quite a poor injury record. I just don't like the thought of, if Haaland doesn't play and gets benched, Solanke doesn't play, he's on my bench, I then end up with either Nico Williams against Arsenal or Dunk against Chelsea. And I don't like that. So I think Solanke to Wilson will be my transfer. But I'm going to mull it over before locking it in. Armband's currently on Salah, as you can see. I don't know. I'm going to be monitoring Twitter to see if there's any team news that doesn't come from Boona. And yeah, you can join me to check Twitter for that. What else have I got to show? I thought it might be worthwhile just showing the FPL scout team, who they think is going to do the best. To be honest, I'm almost completely on board with this one. I think it's a pretty cracking team. Raya, Gabriel, Trippier, Dalot, Salah, Saka, Zaha, Rashford, Haaland, Tony, Mitrovic. I think this is a really good team for this week. I know it's just the FPL guide, but I really don't mind it at all. I've got a few of these players in my team, as you can see. To be honest, goalkeeper's a bit hit and miss, isn't it? It could be Raya, could be Guaita, could be anyone this week. I don't mind Guaita at home v Southampton, to be honest. So yeah, what else have I got to show? Some goal scoring odds, courtesy of FPL Factory. Top of the tree at the moment is Haaland. He's on 66.67% chance of a goal. Got Salah on about 55%. Jesus in third at 50. Darwin Núñez at 48. Harry Kane 45. Alvarez, obviously this doesn't take into account expected minutes. And then my man Callum Wilson there on 40% along with Tony, and then Saka on 40 as well. Unfortunately, Zaha doesn't appear on... Oh, he does. He's 33%. So just based on the odds, I think the Solanke to Wilson transfer for this week is probably the most logical for me. But yeah, there's the goal scoring odds. And then in terms of defensive returns, so looking at the clean sheet odds, we've got Arsenal top in the list, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, United, Newcastle, Palace, and then the rest, I'd say 25% and below, you could probably expect them to concede. Although interesting to see Chelsea at only 23%, considering Brighton have not been amazing going forward. So, yeah. And then the defender return odds, we've got Saliba on at 67, Gabriel 62, so just basically all the Arsenal boys. Tottenham, not expected to do too badly this week, and then obviously we've got Man City and Liverpool along the lines of the clean sheet odds. So that's what the bookies are saying this week. And here's my team. Yeah, just not sure. I'm just not sure. I mean, the alternative is just to roll the transfer, play Andreas, and hope that one of Solanke and Haaland play. Yeah, just not sure. How are you doing anyway, Sparta? What's your team looking like? You got any decisions to make, etc., etc.? Just check the old Twitter, see if there's any early team news for City or anything. He's done Bowen to Saka. Nice one, mate. That's a good move. I think certainly in FPL anyway, that's a good move. I think quite a lot of people will be doing that one. I'm just going to have a look, see if there's any team news at all. You've got Richard Osman tweeting about fantasy football. Look. Don't think there's any breaking news about Haaland on my timeline just yet. I've not seen anything from Booner either. Oh, there's a Cardi. See if we can refresh my Twitter feed. I don't quite know how to do that. So you switch to the old Golden Goal account, see if that helps. Yeah, just interesting one, isn't it? What the hell do we do with our captaincy? Who knows? Haaland's gone up in price. Oh, that's the dated the 22nd. These tweets are really old. See if you can scroll to the top. Yeah, my Twitter needs a refresh. I'll just do that a second. Bear with. Just give it a little refresh. There we are. Is Twitter down or something? It doesn't seem to be showing me my latest tweets at the moment. Ah, there we go. Here's some tweets. Good man, Liam. I'm off to the Bristol City game at 11:30. We got Swansea at home at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock kickoff. You can know when the police are expecting the game to be a bit rowdy when they set the kickoff at 12 o'clock, so no one can have a beer before the game. That's a less than ideal pumpkin there, Leah. So I don't think there's any particular news around Haaland that I've seen yet. Yeah, Bowen to Saka seems to be a popular move. It's not just you doing that, Sparta, so fair enough. That sounds very sensible. What about Scamacca? Let's have a quick look at Scamacca, shall we? What's his minutes like? I think that's the thing for me is, what's his minutes like? Because I don't mind, like, Mitrovic for Scamacca could be a decent transfer, to be fair. He was there and then I've lost him. There he is. Right, so Scamacca. Yeah, those minutes, they obviously got better as the season's gone on, to be fair. He's only scored 2 goals. Scored against Wolves and Fulham. His fixtures in United, Palace, Leicester. They're not bad fixtures, to be fair, but I just don't think he's lit the world up, has he? Like 2 goals against Wolves and Fulham, and then blanked in all of those 3. Not really a 90-minute man as such. I don't know if he might be on penalties. I'm not sure, because I know they said that Bowen's going to be taken off them. But I'm just not sure about Scamacca, mate. He's just not. There's only 6.7, I know, but I feel like there's still better players for that value. I really like Callum Wilson, mate. That's who I'm tempted to buy this week. Although he's not obviously had a bit of an injury period. I just really quite like him. I think he's looking pretty bright. And you look at the goal scoring odds as well. He's right up there. So he's on 40% this week, and then his next fixtures, he's got Southampton and Villa, Southampton, Chelsea. I know Villa have just appointed Emery, but you can't imagine that they're going to improve straight off the bat, are they? So. Yeah. I think Callum Wilson's my guy rather than Scamacca, I think. But obviously, if you've got the budget, let's have a look. Let's do a filter just to see. So Scamacca was 6.7, wasn't he? So this is your list of top scoring strikers for that price. I've got to be honest. Like, I know I'm actually selling Solanke, but I think next game week Solanke is a really good option to have back in. Like, he's got Leeds and Everton. Leeds looking absolutely terrible. And it's another reason why I've captained Salah this week, because I just think Leeds looks so bad. And yeah, I don't see their manager really managing to turn it around. I think the combined, losing Calvin Phillips and then Jesse Marsch not really being great with the Premier League, I think they're just going to get blown away by Liverpool. And then when they play Bournemouth, I think the same's going to happen. Obviously, Solanke's on penalties. When he's fit, he's first choice. I think I prefer Solanke to Scamacca. And I know I'm talking about selling him this week, but when I've had him in my team, I wildcarded in game week 9. He got 2 assists for me in 10 against Leicester, scored a goal and got an assist against Fulham. Then obviously he's blanked against Southampton, and then he got injured against West Ham. That's one thing I actually wanted to check, just what his status is. I'm just going to do a search. The old Solanke. But yeah, I just think Wilson, mate. I just really like him. I think every time I see him play for Newcastle, he just looks really, 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 really good. He doesn't need he only needs half a chance to score. Yeah, I just really like him. He seems to be playing consistent minutes. Just seems to be a really good option. But yeah, I like Callum Wilson. Sorry, every time my phone buzzes, I need to check it because it might be someone telling me that there's some team news. It's that kind of time this morning. Hello, Alexandros, mate. How are you getting on? How's your? You made your transfers? What are you thinking for this game week? Who's your captain, etc., etc.? Well, there we go. Dominic Solanke is a lot better than expected after picking up an injury in game week 13. So he might well be back for 15. But for me, I just think I'm going to spend my transfer bringing in Callum Wilson. I just think he's got much better upside. And what it also does as well, if I bring in Wilson, it leaves me with a bit of cash in hand as well. So if we just go on that. So also, if I pick Wilson for Solanke this week, I can also do... Let's make sure I don't actually make transfers by mistake. But I can also bring in Saka next week. So if I want to swap Zaha out for Saka, I can do that next week because I've got the cash that Wilson gives me. So I think, I'm just more and more convinced on Solanke to Wilson. As you can see, I'm not going to make the moves, but it leaves me with 0.5 million. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And then my captaincy is firmly on Salah at the moment. Well, I say firmly. Firmly is... I didn't really mean that. I'm a bit unsure, like I think everyone is. We just don't know if Haaland's going to play, do we? We just don't know. Oh, Alexandros playing fan team. Yeah, I've still got Haaland as my captain on fan team as well, but let's go into that and have a look. Show you how I'm getting on. I'll just hide the screen just so you can't see my login. That's quite alright. I think with like most things in fantasy, I think like not making a transfer is usually seems to be the best thing to do. There we go. Here's my fan team. See if I can get the zoom working right. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. So yeah, season-long game. I'm currently 29th overall, pocketing 160 quid. Here's my team. Unsure on captaincy. I think I'll do the same in FPL that I'm doing in fan team, but yeah, just not sure. It's just complete toss up between Haaland and Salah on captaincy. Just don't know. Ownership's pretty similar. Be interesting. Didn't do a captaincy poll on the old Golden Goal account to work out what was happening, but I just think it's so tight. Leicester are like, they're not good defensively. I know they've done well of recent, and Ward's kept a few clean sheets, etc. But yeah, they just still look really open at the back, even though they've kept clean sheets. I think they've just hung on into games. So yeah, it's an interesting one. But yeah, it's one of those weeks, isn't it, where the decisions are just really tight. Who knows? And to be honest, like, just comparing the two, right? And I think actually going on FPL Factory, I think if you factor in each player's expected minutes, I think Salah's on top in terms of goal scoring odds. Let's just go on FPL Factory and check. I'm having a nightmare here. So yeah, I plug this one every week, but FPL Factory is basically the site to go to for goal scoring odds, etc. Because they've got them all for free, much like they do on other sites that you have to pay for. But yeah, if you include expected minutes, Salah's on top for expected points this week. He's got the highest goal scoring odds, higher than Haaland. which suggests to me that he's probably the best captain. Because the thing is, right, now I know like what you're doing is comparing, obviously you're comparing the fixture, Haaland at Leicester versus Salah at Leeds. That's one thing to consider. The next thing to consider, well, and based on that, I think Leeds is definitely the better fixture, and especially because Liverpool are at home as well. The next thing to consider is how many like minutes do you expect each player to play. I think Salah comes out way on top on that. I think even if Haaland starts the game, I don't expect him to play many minutes. Like 60 minutes. Like the guy was limping to a medical centre on Wednesday, Thursday. So if he goes from limping and not being able to walk to starting, he's not going to play 90 minutes. And Salah, unless Liverpool start winning like 5 or 6-0, which they could well do, he's going to play the full 90. And I just think Leeds at the moment are in a right trough. And I don't think they're going to bounce back v Liverpool either. I think Liverpool have also got Thiago back, which makes them a much better team in my opinion. So another reason why I think Salah is slightly better as captain. Interesting one, isn't it? Interesting one. Alexandros, top 20 in half season. Nice one, mate. Hopefully you're pocketing a decent penny to spend on your Christmas presents in that one. Dropped from 4th. Oh, that's just unlucky. That's just the swing of it, isn't it? I find that as well. I played my wild card last week and I was in 12th and now I'm 29th. And it was with this team as well. Shall we do it? Shall we do it? Drum roll, please. It's done. Salah's my fan team captain at the moment then. Be interesting to see what the guys like in and around me on the leaderboard are doing as well. Let's see. What's this guy got in his team? Has he got Salah? He's got Salah. What's Louis got? Has Louis got Salah? He's got Salah. I think everyone in like the top 20's got Salah. Salah by the looks of it. Salah. Yeah, everyone's got Salah. All right, Jamie. I'll just go back to FPL. Do I take a gamble on Doherty again? It's either him, Castagna v Man City, or Nico v Arsenal. So all of the like inside accounts, right? Paul O'Keefe is the Spurs like insider. This dude here. And this is the team that he's predicting. And it doesn't have Doherty in it. And he's been pretty accurate with his Spurs predictions this season. And yeah, he's thinking Emerson will play. But the question is, and for me, it's like, if Doherty doesn't play and gets just like 2 minutes of game time at the end of the match, which he did last time, will that score him more points? Will that score him more points than Castagna v Man City or Nico v Arsenal? Because I think, well, Castagna v City is probably not one I'd go for. Nico v Arsenal, like, the thing is with Arsenal is they seem to have dropped off a little bit. They didn't do too well in the Europa League, obviously lost v PSV, and Nottingham Forest have improved a lot defensively. So I think of the three, Nico Williams is probably the one that's got the best chance of scoring some points. I mean, they're all pretty shocking, but I'd probably go Nico Williams as my starter out of that lot. Hello, Ben. My transfer plans this week. This is my team. Guaita in goal, Trippier, Cancelo, Guehi. Salah's currently my captain. Martinelli, Foden, Zaha, Mitrovic, Solanke, Haaland. I've got one transfer in the bank, and I'm thinking of going from Solanke to Callum Wilson. I was thinking of Jesus, but I just think the fact that he's on 4 yellow cards and he's quite expensive in comparison to Wilson at least. And if you look at their expected goal stats in their fixtures, I think the two of them are very even. And Wilson's got the added bonus of being on penalties as well. So I really like Callum Wilson. And what it also does is it allows me some money to upgrade Zaha next week when he's got West Ham. I'll keep Zaha this week for Southampton. My alternative is that I take him out for Saka and then leave Solanke in. But I think Solanke to Wilson's probably the better move. And then next week, I don't really have any hard and fast transfer plans. I think I could well go Zaha to Saka. But I think I'll just leave it up to the gods of the week to tell me if any of my players are injured. Because it might well be that that Haaland is injured for a longer period of time, or he plays this week, gets injured again. So yeah, I think I'm going to go Solanke to Wilson, and that'll be my transfer this week. My worst nightmare is I don't think Solanke's going to play this week. He looks to be fit enough to play next, or at least fit enough to make the bench. It sounds like, according to Gary O'Neill, that he's doing better in his recovery than expected. So I think he's probably going to be on the bench this week. And then if Haaland doesn't play, I'm stuck with like Nico Williams or Dunk in my starting lineup, which just scares the life out of me. So I think it's worth getting rid of Solanke to someone who we can be pretty sure starts, and that's Callum Wilson for me. And yeah, that's another reason. Jesus is on 4 yellows. Tony's another option at that price, but he's also on 4 yellows. So I think it makes total sense to go for Callum Wilson. And obviously Callum Wilson carries the injury risk, right? But it's only 3 game weeks left. And if he does get injured this week, I can just take him out next week, bring in Jesus or Tony or whatever. But yeah, that's my justification. I think I'm going to send it on Callum Wilson. Obviously, Calvert-Lewin's the other option, but he's just as injury prone as Callum Wilson is. And I think on paper, I think Newcastle are looking better than Everton, in my opinion. FPL Boo Boo, I'm pretty sure I told you to start Andreas this week instead of making like a -4. I can't remember what your transfer plan was last week that you asked me, but I'd be interested to know what it was, because it might well be that it's worth making it this week. But yeah, I'm really glad my advice paid off last week. So I think the thing is with Andreas, like, I think he is always better. It's always better to just start Andreas or have him come off the bench than taking a -4, because he's on all the set pieces, pretty much. He takes them really well. Mitrovic is always in the box on the end of them, and I think they could score those kind of goals against anyone. So I really do think that, yeah, if you've got the chance of playing Andreas and you're starting 11 rather than take a -4, I think I'd do that. I'd always stick by that rule, I think. No worries, Ben. Have a good game week, mate. And to be honest, like, I wouldn't want to talk you out of benching Solanke either. If you think he's back next week and you're happy with the rest of your team, then I'd go for it. I think I'd just see a bit more upside in Callum Wilson. And it just feels a bit more fun. Any other questions for me at all? She's got 2 frees. That's good. Rashford in for Trossard or White in for Doherty. Right, I've got some stats that might help you here. So here are the defender return odds and clean sheet odds. So for this week alone, bearing in mind that Arsenal have got Chelsea next week, who you'd like to think they probably score. So these are the odds anyway, bookies odds including minutes. So White, well, basically Arsenal were top of the clean sheet odds. More likely than not to keep a clean sheet, and White has got a 56% chance of returning. The only thing I would say is that Gabriel, did he limp off in the Europa League? He definitely limped off in one of the games that he's played recently, which suggests that Ben White's probably going to play centre-back, and that will switch up the defence a little bit. Obviously, they've been pretty well structured recently. Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Saliba and White has been their back four, and obviously White playing right back. So there's going to be a bit of a switch up in that Arsenal defence. Whether or not that stops them keeping a clean sheet, I'm not sure. But just one thing to consider, I think. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Arsenal are top of all the clean sheet odds. White is going to play. Like, he's fit. They're running out of defensive options at the moment, especially if Gabriel is injured. So you can pretty much bank on Ben White being fit. He's 4.5 million, which I think is really good value. I don't hate that move at all because I don't think Doherty plays. I think it just depends on how strong your bench is. But the other thing to consider, of course, is Trossard's got Chelsea, and Brighton haven't looked too amazing recently. I know he scored against Man City, but you also don't know where Trossard is going to play. Sometimes he plays nearer up front, and then sometimes he plays wing back. So it's really hard to work out where he's going to play. Whereas Rashford, I really like Rashford as an option. Let's go on the transfers, actually. I need to go on the transfer screen so I can see his fixtures and stats. I really like Rashford. He's looked really bright in his last games. His finishing has just let him down, to be honest, which might be one of the reasons why you probably shouldn't pick him. But sorted by... Oh, so annoying. He's, 6.6, isn't he? So if we go 6.8, he should be on this list somewhere. See you a bit later, Jamie, mate. So yeah, Rashford's fixtures, he's got West Ham, Villa, Fulham. Those are really good fixtures. I think that's a real toss-up. I think just for the fact that Solanke isn't a player, like he's not Solanke, sorry. Just for the fact that Doherty's not guaranteed to start, I think White is the least ideal transfer in between White or Rashford. Like, I think White will score less points than Rashford, if that makes sense. But then I think that Doherty is better to transfer out than Trossard is, if that makes sense. And I think just for the fact that Doherty doesn't play, it's probably worth bringing White in. So that would be my view. It's the least bloody exciting transfer in the world, isn't it, mate? But I think that's probably for the best. And I think you wouldn't be unhappy to start Ben White for 2 out of the next 3 game weeks, would you? I blabbered on then. Hopefully my logic there made sense. I think White is the better... Doherty to White is the better transfer. And then to break it down a bit further, I think Rashford is better than White, but it's more important to get rid of Doherty than it is to get rid of Trossard, in my opinion. I also don't think... I know they've got Chelsea, but I don't think Chelsea have actually looked that good. And then following Chelsea, they got Wolves and Villa, so that's 2 really nice fixtures. And Trossard's obviously going to be a bit of a differential for you for those games. So yeah, I really don't think Chelsea have been that good, I've got to say. I know Kepa has been a bit of a star recently, but he really has been saving them in games. Like, some of the saves he's been making have just single-handedly kept them in games. So yeah, I think I'd keep Trossard by Ben White. And then, yeah, you could do both moves for 2 free transfers, of course, but on the whole, I think I'd keep Trossard. I don't think there's too much in it. Right, I'll give you my screen capture back. It's going to be make or break time soon. See if there's any Haaland news a second. Yeah, it'd be fine. Starting Justin or Williams, I wouldn't worry. Looks like quite a few have been buying... Ooh. Okay, Mr. Leak Lineups is going to be leaking a Man City team at 10:45. So I'll get on that then. I've been trying to stay away from Zuckerberg stuff, but I think it's going to be worth going on his account to see this team. Okay, well, we've got a Man City leak at 10:45. I'm just going to message my mate Jamie, who was just in the chat there, while he goes to the game. Leaked Man City lineup on leaked lineups. Yeah, but this dude's usually really reliable. I don't think he's actually gotten a starting lineup wrong. He's just one of those guys that's just really well connected in the world of football and just gets these lineups. So let's get back to fantasy. So yeah, we'll wait for 10:45 then. Check that Instagram, see what the leak's saying, and go from there. That's really useful for everyone, I think. But yeah, he's obviously there's no like 100% accurate team predictor. Of course there isn't, but yeah, it looks like he's going to be the man to save us all this game week. Oh, I feel a bit of relief now knowing that there's going to be a Man City leak. I think I'll just hold on as well. I won't make my transfer until we decide on the captaincy. Any other questions, you guys? Anything else you want to know? But yeah, viewers are going up and down, so people might be joining new or joining back from being there before. But looking at my team here, I've got 2 potential transfers that I could make, 3 options. One of them just being not do anything, and I've got 1 free transfer, so it'd leave me with 2 next week. My 2 options are Zaha to Saka, or I could do Solanke to either Callum Wilson or Gabriel Jesus or Ivan Toney. I think of the 3 strikers that I've just mentioned, I think Callum Wilson's probably the best. He doesn't have the 4 yellow card problem that Toney and Jesus do, and he's looking to be just as good in terms of non-penalty and normal XG as Toney is. He's also on penalties as well. So I think Callum Wilson's a really good option, and Newcastle have just been flying recently. People are talking about them becoming like a top 6, top 4 team this season. So yeah, I'd be quite happy to have their striker. So yeah, that's my thoughts. We have some leaked lineups coming from Team News and Ticks on Instagram. I've lost the account now. But yeah, he's going to leak us a lineup at 10:45, so that's really good. So we should know if Haaland plays or not on his story. So I'll keep an eye on that and see where we go. Brilliant, my Instagram's just froze. We'll just go back on Instagram, and we'll keep that ready for when it does get leaked. And there's my team. As for Fan Team, if any of you are Fan Team players and follow this, subscribe to this YouTube for Fan Team. That's not my team. I was snooping on number 1's team for last week. This is how I'm looking at the moment. Although I did change my captain earlier and it didn't appear to save. There we go. We got Salah as my captain. But on the main screen it said that Haaland was my captain. Interesting. Let's go back. So yeah, I'm 29th overall in the full season game on Fan Team at the moment. The website's just crashed on me. Yeah, Fan Team likes to crash on me. Let's get loaded back up a second. I don't know what's happening here with fan team. I'm just going to check it on my phone to make sure that it's not screwed me up. But yeah, the armband's currently on Salah in fan team. Just as it is in FPL, yeah, it's currently on. It's on Salah. For some reason, my browser's not letting me load fan team. And yeah, we'll wait for this Man City lineup news in 6 minutes, and then go from there. Mate, if Foden doesn't start, I'm gonna be livid because honestly, it was such a toss up between him and Saka. I spent so long thinking about it, and then Foden just didn't play. It's an absolute nightmare. No, I'm gonna have to use a different browser. Let's see if we can get old Google Chrome to load us up on fan team. Yeah, mate, I'm the same. If Foden doesn't start, I'm going to be really annoyed. I also think that Haaland not being on the pitch will negatively affect Foden as well. I think his attacking output will go down. I just think Haaland, like running in behind, drags away defenders from Foden, and yeah, just makes him much more of a threat. So yeah, I'd be annoyed if Foden doesn't play. I'd also be annoyed if Haaland doesn't start because it means that Foden won't do as well. Although for me in FPL at least, Foden's like, what's his ownership? He's up to 28.5, so he's not exactly a differential anymore. It's still not letting me log in. What's going on, fan team? Start Bailey or Guehi. Who have Villa got? Villa have got Newcastle. That's a tough one, that. That is a really tough one. Should we have a quick look at a website that might be useful? I can show you some predicted points if you'd like. So really good website called Draft Hound. I did... so Guehi's got 3.3 expected points. I did plug Draft Hound next week, and I did have a free membership, but unfortunately that expired. So I'm going to have to... I'm going to have to just go for... So there's your predicted points. Usually I'd be able to show like a nice table comparison, but because it's not, I'm having to wangle it with the team feature. But looking at predicted points, mate, it's bloody close. Guehi's on 3.3, Bailey is on 3.5. So you can use that to make your decision. There's 0.2 points in it. The predicted points model is saying that Bailey will do better. But I think I'd flip a coin. Hopefully that helps. That's basically all I've got for you. I think it's really close. 3 minutes until the leaked City lineup on this man's Instagram. Let's see what he's done in the past. I'm just going to search the term Haaland and see if anyone's got anything. Who's this? I've no idea. He's got is that the Rolling Stones as his cover photo? Yeah, I'm not sure about this guy. He's saying that he's not going to play. Oh, blimey. So, yeah, so his leaked lineup is that both Haaland and Foden don't play. My God. So it would appear that Haaland is out. Interesting. Does that mean that Foden to Saka is a good transfer to make this week then? 'Cause... 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 'C Very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, he's basically been informed that Haaland doesn't play, so interesting. Foden is a big issue. I see where that question came from, Alexandra. She must have seen that before me. But yeah, suggesting that Haaland doesn't play. I'm way behind on that news. Apologies. Let's see if this guy's story's been updated then. I'm just texting Jamie to let him know. It's 10:45. Hopefully he's got his lineup out. There's nothing yet. So Mr. Ollie Paul has done Solanke to Calvert-Lewin. Interesting. Was that team news in ticks? Was that Booner? Could you imagine if he's done me there? I don't think it is. Oh, it was Booner. I've just been done by Booner. I can't believe it. At least I didn't make any transfers anyway. I wouldn't worry. I think that was Booner, mate. So we're going to wait for this guy to announce it on Instagram. Oh, where's his story? I don't know. Can you view stories on a Instagram on a browser? I'm just going to log in on my phone and see if that helps me. I think I've just been boonered. Although I didn't make any transfers. We were always... Oh, sorry, that's Zoom. I don't want to go on Zoom. I wasn't going to make any transfers, but yeah, Booner's a right bastard, isn't he? Where was the tweet? Team new. Ah, yeah, team new antics. So it wasn't a bastard. It wasn't team news and ticks all along. It was Booner. God, he's such a bastard, isn't he? Right, let's see if this dude's got a lineup on his. So I've got to follow him, have I? Oh, brilliant. So that means I'm not going to be able to see the lineup because it's private. I've hit follow anyway, so we'll see. I think I might have him followed on my phone. Oh, so his account's private, so I can't, unless he accepts me, I won't be able to see the leaked lineup. That's really annoying. If anyone can get themselves on leaked lineups Twitter account, it'd be really useful if you could check it out. Ah, okay. So someone I know has got him on Twitter. Hopefully you can see that, because I don't have him on Instagram. He's not accepted my follow. But in fact, I can. It's on my DMs. 2 seconds. I'll show you my Twitter DMs because it's in there. It's in my FPL and fan team chat. Can you see that? So that's his post. So no Haaland or Foden, and that seems to be the legit account. And no Haaland or Foden. So no Foden or Haaland. So you've got 10 minutes to make a decision with my team with no Foden or Haaland. I'm not going to touch anything in fan team. I've got 2 decent bench options that can just come in. So I'm not going to make any transfers there. But with my FPL team, I think it definitely warrants a transfer. So I think I'm going to start. See, does Foden for even if he plays, because I think Foden will play some minutes. Say if Foden plays some minutes, is Andreas a better option to start than Foden? And then I take Solanke out. Because I think Haaland unquestionably is worth keeping in the starting 11. Because even if he plays 10 minutes, he's got a chance of scoring. Blimey. What a curveball. No Foden or Haaland. What an absolute curveball. So I'm glad I've got Salah as my captain anyway. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for... God, what does that mean? What does that mean? What do I do with my team? So I could still do Solanke to Wilson. Or I could get rid of Foden and go for Saka. What an absolute curveball that is. No Foden or Haaland. Everyone's got them in their bloody team. I've got 8 minutes to decide. Ooh. What are we saying, folks? What does this news mean for you? No Salah, not no Salah. No Foden, no Haaland. Sparta, they did do that last week, didn't they? They were beating Brighton and then Foden came on. Not sure about Haaland. I think Haaland's probably the one to bench this week rather than Foden, to be fair. I just don't think you can sell Haaland, can you? And then I got Williams. Christ. That's not a bright looking team, is it? Christ. I just don't know now. I've got 7 minutes to decide. I just don't know. I just don't know what I'm going to do with this team. I think Foden to Saka could be the move, if I believe that team news anyway. I think Foden to Saka could be the transfer. That's what my gut's telling me at the moment. What do you guys think? Is the transfer I make here Foden to Saka, or do I do Solanke to Wilson like I originally planned? Because it sounds like Solanke's going to be back next week, whereas... but then Foden's got a great fixture next week, but is he going to play again? That's 2 Premier League games in a row he's been benched for. Yes, do it. Which one? Which option? I think Foden to Saka makes sense. Like that team news in Tick Sky, yeah, he is 90. Well, I don't think I've ever seen him get it wrong. To be honest, I don't ever think I've ever seen him get a lineup wrong. So, yeah, I trust it. I trust that news. And if it's wrong, I'd probably trust him again because he definitely seems to have some inside sources. You saying Foden to Saka, Sparta's saying Wilson. Ooh. It's complete 50-50, isn't it? Complete 50-50. Good luck, Alexandros, mate. Hope you have a good game week. Because then, yeah, Foden's better long term, isn't he? Solanke's probably going to get benched this week. Although he is doing better. So what if Solanke played? I'm liking Foden to Saka, you know. Just on the off chance that Solanke plays. I want to make a transfer because both Haaland and Foden are benched. I'm not going to get maximal points out of them. And it's going to mean maybe that Nico Williams or someone crap comes in. So I definitely want to make a transfer to sort that out. And then Solanke has got... So his fixtures are Leeds and Everton following this week. Blimey. What a clusterfuck. What an absolute madness. I think I'm going to do Solanke to Wilson. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Solanke to Wilson. Oh, I haven't pressed it yet. Then I could always do, like, if Solanke's injured again, I could always get Núñez or someone like that. But if if Foden's not playing, I think it definitely makes sense to bring in Saka, I think. But then I miss Foden for his good fixture next week. But again, does that suggest that is Foden going to play in the next game week? No, let's get rid of the injured player. I'm going to stick to my guns. Oh, I just don't know what to do. I'm having a bloody meltdown here. I just don't know what to do. Let's get rid of Solanke. What were the odds saying? Saka was 38.1, Wilson was 40. I'm going to do Saka. Wilson. I'm going to go Wilson. before the deadline, hopefully. Done. Oh, no! No! You're joking. FPL's frozen. I can't make my transfers. The game's frozen. Brilliant. And that's it. What a fucking nightmare. The game's broken. Oh my God. So the deadline's hit. We know Haaland's not playing. And well, what can he do? What a farce. What an absolute farce. What a joke. Obviously, everyone's making their transfers in exactly the same position as me, thinking, what the hell do I do? So now I've got Solanke. Oh, what a disaster. So Foden and Haaland not playing. What a fucking farce. Yeah, I'm not bothered, mate. It's not the end of the world. What an absolute disaster. At least I got Salah as my captain anyway, so I'm probably in a better position than some. Christ, what a farce. Well, there we go. Thank you so much, everyone that tuned in anyway. I don't really know what to say after that. I'm pretty chilled, is what it is. There's no prize money in FPL, is there? It's just a fun game to play, but it's a real shame that that's how this game week's finished. All that doubt, all that news, some team lineups come out, bit of time to decide, and then the app crashes. Brilliant. Take care, everyone. I'll be back next week. I should be free on Saturday for another deadline stream. Yeah, good luck, everyone. I'm sorry if you were trying to make your transfers too and they didn't work out. I'm in the same boat, so don't worry. We'll be fine. In a bit.